there is like this like dirty connotation, at least for me, with sometimes with progressive styles of music where they prioritize the technique over the emotion. But it's like,
Right.
I think as a band, we've always made it kind of number one priority to serve the song, you know, and the emotion. And then by hook or by crook, we're going to get there. You know what I mean?
Ben and Jesse, thank you so much for your time today, especially today. I mean, obviously, people that are watching this right now are not watching it at the time that we're recording this, but as we are recording it, is the release day of the new album. It just came out. Everybody got a chance to listen to it now. How are you selling? I mean, you have to do interviews right now, and I apologize for that your team makes you do that on release day itself. Are you doing anything special after this? Are you celebrating a little bit? What's going on?
No, man, we're just hanging out. We're just chilling.
Same, just trying to keep the routine, man. And I mean, we appreciate, you know, you taking the time to hit us up. It's not a drag or anything, you know. We're excited about it, but trying not to hyper fixate maybe on what's going on social media and whatnot. Just let it be and let people hear it. And, you know, like I said, play some guitar and keep it.
Yeah. Is that a statement for the whole band, or is it just the two of you were not appointed to be like on 5 million phones responding to every comment right now? Because that is the reality these days of, you know, an album release. It's, you know, it is spending a lot of time on computers and phones these days and looking at, you know, numbers and Excel sheets and comments coming in. Is the whole band trying to stay away from that, or is it just you guys?
I mean, we've spent so much time leading up to this day too, and also we'll get back to it immediately. You know what I mean? Because it's just a part of the gig. But we just didn't really have like a blowout celebration or anything today. Really, you know what I mean? Just low key, man. We'll probably do something when we get together as a full band because we're so spread apart that. When we get together here soon, we'll probably do some kind of like seance or something to celebrate, you know, light some candles.
All right. Bringing both the Phantom and the Phoenix together then with that seance. Let's dive into this album and everything else that's going on, and we'll look ahead as well, I'm sure. Because, I mean, obviously, you know, today, as you said, like, you know, it's the release. It's not that you've been working on these songs yesterday and whatever. This is somewhat in the past for you, so I'm sure that you're already thinking ahead of other things. But let's dive in and dissect a little bit. I mean, obviously, the whole album it's all about balance. It's different sides that come out, both from lyrics, from musical feeling, the evolution that we've seen from album to album with a title like, you know, Phantom and Phoenix. Were there, when you are working on this album, was it always from the get-go kind of like feeling that we're kind of dealing with two different powers we need to balance out in one way, shape, or form? Like, was it the process that led to the concept in the title, or was it the other way around?
I would say, you didn't come up with that concept till we had some songs written.
It was pretty early on. I mean, I had like those words were there. I didn't know that it was going to end up being necessarily like the album title.
But I mean, it's kind of common practice for us. We kind of have two sides. We've always kind of just had two sides to our music anyway. And in hindsight, I feel like this album, maybe we separated it more song to song instead of being in like one song maybe or something. I don't know. We don't really think about it. You know what I mean? We just like, Ben and I were just having this conversation. We just write what we want to write, and it just comes out the way that I think it naturally comes out.
We listen to so much different kinds of music, and like we always have been inspired by so much, so that when we write music, it just kind of, it doesn't fall into the same sound. And I mean, we want it to be cohesive, but like Jesse said, we write what we like to hear, so it comes out as, you know, very different kinds of sounds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a fair point to discuss because, I mean, with any band out there like yourselves that I mean, you're hard to label, but when people do label you, they will likely slap the word prog in there somewhere. And when we have bands that clearly have technicality as part of your identity, and you know, kind of like breaking boundaries and doing things differently, that can fully take over from like raw emotion. And I think, Jesse, when you're talking about two different sides, at least from my perspective, those are two sides that for me stand out with you guys, where there is a clear technicality, but there's also like a visceral emotion to it. How do you, because it's like, oh, that's, we just write what comes out, but does it require a lot of rethinking or rewriting to make sure that one doesn't overtake the other? Because there's plenty of bands that will also have the label prog in there because they do things slightly differently, and many bands kind of venture into, and that could be fun, just like, hey, look at what we can do. This is a display of our abilities, and sometimes the song or the emotion gets sacrificed in favor of the display of technicality. With you guys, that doesn't seem to happen. Is it as natural and as simple as you just make it sound like, or is that a bigger exercise?
We definitely like hash it out as we go. Rarely do we just like write a riff and we're satisfied with that, you know, but it does. Speaking of emotion, it definitely, that's first and foremost, I think, probably for, I would imagine most musicians, I don't see how you wouldn't, like, it has to elicit some sign of a kind of emotion, you know, or we're not moving on with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Technicality, yeah, that definitely doesn't really, I think we're moving more and more away, like, from caring about that, you know, and being okay with like just playing 4/4 and, you know, trying to make stuff that, you know, we want to hear, but, you know, it's not just hopefully not just run of the mill stuff, you know.
I think we've always tried to have that balance, you know, between those two things, and what you touched on, which was, you know, having this progressive element, but I don't think it's necessarily as much of a conscious choice as just like wanting to keep it interesting for ourselves, and like, based on the things that, you know, has always turned us on, you know. And you're right, there is like this like dirty connotation, at least for me, with sometimes with progressive styles of music where they prioritize the technique over the emotion. But it's like, I think as a band, we've always made it kind of number one priority to serve the song, you know, and the emotion. And then by hook or by crook, we're going to get there. You know what I mean? I think, at least for me too, like the other guys in the band, I hold them in high regard, you know, as far as their technique and capability as musicians. I never thought of myself as virtuistic. So I'm just trying to write like within my means, I guess, and write something that feels fulfilling. But yeah, like I said, these guys, they have a great way of, it's like all my favorite music really throughout the years is stuff that's almost like hidden progressiveness to it, to where it like taps emotion, but there is this more interesting thing underneath the surface than, you know, some stuff that kind of doesn't last the test of time.
If it is like this organic way and you kind of let it all out and it has to serve the song, does that mean that whether you were writing it or whether you kind of like, you know, play it or provide part of the rhythm section in Jesse's case, were there moments like emotions that came out that you kind of surprised yourself with that you weren't expecting? Like, does the song take over the direction to such an extent that you get to a place where you never thought you'd get to?
That's a good question. I think we definitely tapped into a new thing with this album. Like, we have like this lighter side that I feel like we haven't, like, we've always had like lighter melodic sections and songs. I don't know how to say it. It's like a more of a bittersweet feeling, I feel like, that we tapped into as far as like an emotion. As far as leading us somewhere different, like beyond, like when writing that part, can't think of anything in particular, but
there's been a couple surprises, I'd say, with like what Jesse said, those direction of songs or that type of vibe, when we stepped back, was like, that's kind of interesting, and we haven't done that before. And
right.
I'm sure it'll be surprising to people that are familiar with our style of music. That's
right.
Like Jesse said, we touched on it, but it was always like more heavily dark as opposed to a more even split between this light and dark feeling. So yeah, there were a couple of songs that were a little bit surprising. I think it's every time we write music though, man. And that's like, how else do you want to do it? You don't want to write music and be there and just be in this like place where you know what's coming for yourself. You know what I mean? When you're writing stuff. And so to be in a place where you surprise yourself, it's like, okay, now maybe we're writing something that's worth it to us.
Right. Yeah. Is there a line in the sand? I mean, you're definitely more experimental than you were before, and just I totally hear you when you say like we'll allow our lighter side to come out more, like compared to like Sight the Sound, it was I think darker and stuff like that. But like this album is not like experimental to the level that some like truly left field bands can be or artists can be. Is there a line in the sand in this band? Like are there ideas that come and people just go like, this is just not Stellar Circuits, or is kind of like it, anything goes?
I don't think it's as much this isn't Stellar Circus as much as like, is this shit good? Like that. Like we want good music, and we feel like if we put it out, then there is that continuity. Yeah, we definitely, I mean, it's not something that's lost on us, the idea of like, yeah, is this the sound of your band or not?
Right.
But that's kind of the thing with progressiveness. I think there's two things with progressiveness. One is technicality, and one is just like unconventional song structures and influences to where you're pulling things from different places. And I think for us, at least for me, I kind of lean towards the other way, which is more just like pulling in a bunch of different influences as opposed to like displays of virtuosity,
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really do love about progressive music, man. And it doesn't have to be like metal. Like I think there's a lot of progressive shit out there now that like people don't give it enough credit for being experimental, but the stuff for us, I don't know, like it always just feels like us, so.
Yeah, I would definitely say we don't draw any lines for ourselves when it's an open book, like when we're all in the room together and starting songs, it's kind of like, it's exciting if something's weird, for me.
Yeah.
Even it may not, like we cut out a lot of stuff this time, like songs that, just it wasn't that they weren't cool. It's just, they just weren't as good, at least that's what we felt like in the end.
We had a lot of material,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny though, because like we're always trying to do something new, but in hindsight, when you listen to our music, it's like you can still hear it's us. Like it's changed a lot in 10 years time, but there's just something that comes out when the four of us are in a room together.
There was definitely a buzz around the build-up of this album. I think that this album is going to introduce you to a bigger crowd. I think, in a few years from now, when we look back, I think that you'll find that this album was a game changer for you guys. Now that you allowed yourself to be just a little bit more different on this album than previously, is this an album that this experience and the feedback that you, I'm sure, have seen, even if you're not spending all your time reading comments today, does this album, this experience, give you the, I don't know if confidence is the right word or justification is the right word, to when you're thinking about what's next, to double down even harder on that? Or should we expect kind of like an action reaction kind of thing that, okay, we've done this now and the next album is going to be completely different?
I mean, it's hard to say, man. Like, honestly, the process has kind of been the same for us. You know what I mean? We've changed this, so we get like different results. We have new places of influence, but we're always just trying to push ourselves to write the best music that we can, Mm-hmm. And I think at this time, we were in a certain place that we were able to collectively come together and put out like a certain sound. and it's always hard to say like where we're going to go from here or from there, you know, like what we're going to feel like writing tomorrow. Like you mentioned, it's been a while since we've written music, because this stuff was obviously written a while ago. And now that's kind of like starting to swirl around, at least in my head, like what the next step is. But I think it's always just like sit down and start and then see where you end up. And that's like probably the coolest thing, man, is like I just never know how any of this stuff's going to turn out. So it's just it's exciting to do it. And I think that's probably the biggest impetus to keep going, is this like new exciting, like chasing this thing that has yet to be discovered. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here, you know. Yeah. And then also simultaneously trying to enjoy, like, okay, we did something, it took about 3 years, let's at least take a breath. But I always got to stay in motion too, man. You can't just sit for too long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to obviously promote this album first and foremost as well. And I mean, you already have a reputation of being a very like engaging live band. Some of these songs allow you to build a very immersive, like very engaging, almost like very intimate, even if it's a very big show, feeling with this album, because of some of the emotional nature and then the different kind of like melodies that we get. So what can we expect from a live show that is going to be promoting this album? Because it does give you the option to take your show, people have seen you before, to take that show in very different directions as well. What are you thinking there?
It's kind of this, it's always been the same for us. It's like, because we have these two sides of our band, and it's like, what side, and I think we've let that kind of play its course. Like who we're touring with, we'll kind of like pick and choose songs that we feel like maybe, I don't know, or we just go completely opposite, and we're just like, we just want to be crazy and whatever. But and that's something that's honestly been really difficult too for our band. I feel like it's hard to find exactly where we fit in or our identity as a band, you know, like and I feel like even more so with this album, it's a little bit more demanding in the fact that like from song to song, it's a lot different sounding. It's you know, we already heard some people saying that it just sounds like a different record altogether, like from song to song, which, you know, take it or leave it, you know. But yeah, that's difficult for us to pick and choose songs a lot of the time, because we want to play them all. You know?
Yeah,
but
no, for sure.
And what side
then,
we like?
Sorry, go finish your thought.
Oh no, I'm done. Go ahead.
So is it then fair to say that for, well, at least the two of you, but I mean, you're speaking on behalf of the band here anyway, that like one of the goals, if that's the right word, but if you're looking back in a year from now, that, you know, you have toured with some really, and you support some really cool bands, and I hear what you say, like you know, when you're opening for a really cool band, you know, you are obviously limited in the time you have and the production that you can put on. And then also, like, you know, are you going to cater to what you think that audience wants, or do you want to build your own identity? Is it then fair to say that, you know, for 2026, a focus of the band will be to shed the skin of that weird, crazy support band to this is us as a headlining, this is our identity, and kind of work on that to make sure that people have a better understanding of what you guys are live? Is that what you want to get out of it?
I think whether we're support or like in a headline situation, dynamics is just always really important for us. You know, like we like the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of the feelings of our music, and it can be a challenge sometimes within like a smaller space to show those dynamics. But yeah, I guess you're right, and that's something like in our mind that we want to try to pursue is maybe, you know, we're always trying to focus things and have that continuity, but it's always this two sides, man. There's always two sides to our band. It's like that Phantom Phoenix idea, the dark, the light, the progressive, the more visceral, like all these things, the science and spirit aspect to it, I think has been something from the start. And like, I think we're just going to continue to try to have that like unique balance, because I feel like within heavy music too, there is a lot of this like similarity between, like, let's say bands that do heavy and lighter stuff. There's a lot of that same sounding stuff. So for me, like, it's exciting to hear, like, I'm always, my ears perk up when I hear, like, especially vocalists in progressive and metal situations that have like a different sound. So yeah, it'll be nice for us now with this album. It gives us more of an opportunity to pull from different areas and to create this atmosphere and showcase the identity that we have for ourselves, you know?
Yeah. Now, you mentioned before, Ben, that, you know, progressive music doesn't have to be metal. Now we're talking about shows, and, you know, to ask a very serious question, if either of you had the chance to like make one of the other band members play a completely different non-metal instrument, like kazoo or, you know, trombone or accordion, like, who would you make play what, and how are they going to make sure it's still progressive metal?
I don't know. I mean, I play harmonica. We tried to put that on a track the last album, and it was cool. It just didn't really blend. Like suit the album.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, man, we come from like a lot of different areas of music coming up and learning how to play. So I'd say there's always a chance of like some weird, like maybe rootsy vibe that comes out or something. But I don't know.
I would tell Tyler to play like the flute or something.
Yeah, Tyler, the drummer, if he played flute,
just seems like it matches his energy, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we get that whole Renaissance vibe.
Jared, he would play like a Viking horn or something, like,
yeah,
because he's Irish and he's like, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
But man, seriously, like, yeah, I don't know. Tyler's trying to integrate more like electronic sounds with his drum kits and stuff. So maybe in the future we'll have more like stuff like that, or yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
On a serious note, yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea.
We'll just have to all come to your shows, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of shows in 2026 from you guys, to see what kind of surprises you are cooking for us. In the meantime, we've got this new album out now that everybody can fully enjoy and find all the curveballs that you're throwing our way, and there's plenty of those. Guys, thank you so much for taking, you know, some time on release day to answer our questions and just to hang out and spend some time for interviews. Really appreciate that. I hope you can enjoy a super relaxing, with a little bit of guitar playing, but still tonight, and just chill a little bit. And I mean, do keep an eye on those comments, because I have a feeling I'm going to see a lot of positive comments there. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you on a stage soon.
Thanks, Jasper.
Cheers, man. Yeah, thanks for your time, bro.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it, and subscribe to the channel.